Hey everybody, how you doing? I had to go live after seeing, or maybe the better term is to say enduring, Jason Whitlock's 15-minute and 48-second interview with President Donald Trump. I want to start my stream on this by saying this. If Donald Trump were the kind of person that he presented himself to be on The Apprentice, and the kind of person I thought we were going to get when he originally announced he was running for president before he gave his speech, which is, I assumed that Trump would be a champion for entrepreneurs and small business people. I felt that Trump would be the kind of person, I hoped that he would be the kind of person who would establish basically a political voice for the entrepreneur, for the business person. Instead, he came in and he established a political voice for white supremacists. Jason Whitlock confirmed that organizations like mine that are on the White House press list can't get access, which is what I've tried to get over the years since Trump has been president, unless they absolutely consume from A to Z President Trump's view of America. That's it. You have to be a conservative leaning organization. But in the case of someone who's African American, given what Donald Trump has done, it pained me to actually watch. And I never thought I'd say this or be compelled to say what I'm saying to you in this year 2020. A person, a black man, just lay down here literally and be super syrupy, uncritically, unfailingly nice. And there's nothing wrong with being nice. I love being nice, okay? But you can be nice and still ask the things that Jason Whitlock didn't ask. Now look, I understand Jason Whitlock is the person that time and time again has produced the conservative line that gets on African Americans who act up in public, which I understand and I agree with, and was really upset over the behavior of African Americans who went to Las Vegas for the NBA All-Star game in 2007. I get that. And I think by and large, Jason was right, okay? But Jason comes from the perspective of wanting to scratch that surface or say to somebody black, hey, I'm better than you, and I don't need you to like me. I'll go over here. And that doesn't help anybody. Donald Trump took office and, among other things, yelled at and belittled black female television anchors and journalists, particularly on CNN, called them names and belittled them before a national audience. And he did this more than once. Donald Trump referred to NFL players as SOBs during the whole national anthem issue. Before you say, hey, they were not respecting the anthem, let me remind you that Donald Trump himself, before he ran for president, called for, on David Letterman, January 8, 2015, people to know, from his perspective, it was okay to burn the flag. He's on David Letterman, agreeing with David Letterman that flag burning is one of the things that's quintessentially American and, A-okay. That is the person who just months later ran for president. Oh, in between that point and when he gave his speech at Trump Tower, where he started calling Mexicans names and everything else. Between those 2 points, he also gave a speech where he said the Confederate monuments needed to be in a museum. He said that. Donald Trump said that. So here we go to Jason Whitlock saying, or basically being before him, and quite literally walking over himself to be, I hate to use the term lapdog, but that term does come to mind. There is nothing wrong with criticizing your elected officials, especially when they do what Trump has done. But when you take a position before the President of the United States, who has done so much damage and divided people, and not ask him about that, you're not hurting, you're certainly hurting the rest of us as a country, regardless of color, all right? You're not helping anybody. There are 2 Americas, all right. There was the America with Barack Obama, which was much happier than the one we got with President Trump. And for us, for black folks, I'll bet you that Jason Whitlock walked through that White House and it was hard pressed to see anybody black working there in any position that had to do with policy formation or in great numbers, unlike his predecessor, President Obama. We're all one human race, but color does matter because people make it matter by them not treating people who look like me right. And if you don't know that, you can't be an American citizen. You have to have lived, you should be right now living someplace else. And if you have that point of view, and when I say should be living someplace else, I don't mean you should leave. I'm simply saying that you're looking at this not from a United States and America lens. Only someone ignorant of American history and culture would dare ask why race matters when we know that what a person looks like matters every single second of every single day of everybody's life, both positively and negatively. What you want is for everybody to be positive in how they look at things. Back to my point regarding Jason Whitlock and President Trump. First of all, congratulations for him getting the interview. That's great. But there are many people who sat in that chair. What I mean by that chair, I mean opposite the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and they have asked hard questions, including people from Fox News. Jason acted like he was scared. Like if he had, just maybe went in the direction of asking President Trump why he referred to people at Charlottesville as both sides rather than get on the right wingers who are causing the problem. Instead, Jason didn't do that. Jason fell for the conservative public relations trick of Antifa and went there and said that Antifa actually was a terrorist group that existed. There is no such thing as Antifa. What has happened, folks, is it's the genius of a public relations strategy that says any person that is at a rally and gets into a skirmish with someone who's right-wing is automatically Antifa. Or any person that is at a rally, so say defund the police, is automatically, that's what they call them, Antifa. So rather than say, hey, people who disagree or people who are not of the same mind, they came up with a name for them, and what that did, the strategy, was to deflect attention from right-wing racist organizations that really have names, like the KKK, like the Proud Boys. You get the idea. So it's the whole both sides thing, all right? And Jason went right into that hook, line, and sinker, and I'm pretty sure he got paid for it. I hope for his sake he got paid handsomely. It doesn't help anyone. If it helps him buy a supercar, something like a Bugatti or a Maserati, okay, ooh, wah, great for him. But it's not great for the country. And it's not great for our future. a democracy should be such that a person like Jason isn't afraid to ask a truly critical question. I mean, instead he tiptoed when Jason could have strutted. He could have taken a liberty and said, hey, you know what? Um, Great that you have fantastic relationships with black rappers, but can't you say something nice about President Obama, who actually gave you an economy that works, as opposed to making it look like, which he does, that Trump has some sort of nervous tick about Barack Obama because he's black? He should have asked that. Then the video would have really went viral, okay? But he didn't. This is all about making Trump look good to what Donald Trump thinks is the black community. And the way the black community is today is, the simple fact of the matter is that it's a lot more diverse in thinking than it ever has been. There have always been black Republicans. There are now black libertarians, Democrats, every place else. But the one thing that we all have in common is the desire to be treated with respect and not used. Jason Whitlock was used. Jason Whitlock was used. You know, this election, I would be surprised if President Trump were reelected. What Donald Trump should do from here to Election Day is really give some hard thought to how he's treated people. He's treated a lot of people terribly. Even to this point, right now, today, as Jason so merrily sat and talked with him, is withholding coronavirus funds and played footsie, played games with the Democratic funding. I'm not letting the Democrats off the hook for just simply calling them bluff and saying, okay, boom, we'll take it, because people need money. All right? It's not a good thing to say, hey, I'm okay, and which we are, thankfully, and not concern ourselves with everybody else, because I go with this mantra. We're only as rich as the people around us. If you have people down the street who are suffering, then you are suffering. Even if you really aren't. You suffer when they don't do well. We suffer as a country when our poorest people are not whole. And we really suffer as a country. We have this constant fear of death hanging over us from a virus that Trump knew existed, but didn't acknowledge it because he said he was afraid what was going to happen with the stock price, brother. Let me tell you something. The stock price would have been A-okay if he had a plan. He didn't have a plan. It was to say that it was not a problem and then not wear a mask at the same time he knew it was a problem. You can't forget these things, all right? You cannot forget these things. They are damaging to our society. The pandemic has taken our economic legs out from under us, but what has made it more of a problem is that we don't have an economic planning response. For example, President Trump allowed 3 states, primarily Iowa, to go 21 days without power, 600,000 people without power. And yet, because the media was so busy following every little thing that he said and tweeted, the collective attention of the media was focused away from Iowa. So to this day, no one, except if you pay attention to what's going on in Iowa, has any idea that if Iowa was recovering and to what degree. Not only that, Iowa suffered not $1 billion, but $10 billion worth of crop damage. Did you know that? Because of something called the Derico. Trump went to Cedar Rapids, Iowa airport, stayed for 30 full minutes and never left. And never left it to tour, and then got on the plane and got out of there. As opposed to what other presidents from Obama to Bush 2 to Clinton to Bush 1 and so on would have done, all the way back to Reagan and beyond Reagan. Let's go all the way to Nixon. Let's go to Kennedy. They would have got on the plane and made a tour more than once, given the level of damage that had been placed upon that 3-state region, so important to our agricultural industry. So important, and yet you didn't know about it. All right? You know how I found out about it? I pay attention to YouTube. Videos just propping up left and right. Some of them hadn't gotten up there until days later because they didn't have any power. This is an outrage. We had damage in terms of population larger than Katrina. All right? And I'll bet you creds to Navy means you didn't even know about it. That's today, folks. Those people are still suffering because on top of that, they had to deal with the PPP funds running out, the president not advancing another $1,200 check, unemployment benefits going down, eviction moratoriums being threatened to be taken off the legal books. This is ridiculous. This is not the way things are supposed to be. Are you listening to me? This is absolutely ridiculous. And for all of that we've dealt with, for Jason Whitlock to go there and act like none of that's happening, and then talk about how he's glad, and yeah, I'm glad that college football is back. I will not lie to you. But we can do better, and the NFL too, and we can do better. Because you could have opened up the other question. Hey, how come you didn't follow through with the whole task force you had, Mr. President, to save NFL football, save basketball, save sports, and save hospitality when you had the big 3 casino leaders in your office promising bailouts to them, and now they don't have them, and Las Vegas is still big time suffering. Big time. These are not political games to play. This is our country. This isn't a matter of liberal or conservative. This is a matter of giving you money so you can pay your bills and so you can clear and make right for your family. That's what this is about. And if you don't understand that, it's about time you did, okay? There's no excuse. Wake up. Congratulations for Jason getting that entree. Great for him. But because it was him and the way he handled it, it wasn't great for anybody else. Look, I understand he has his fans, excuse me. President Trump has his. I don't mean to make enemies with anybody. This is about engineering our country so we can get back to health. And right now, we're not being led properly. That's just a sad fact. There should not be this kind of chaos. We've had Democrat and Republican coalitions working together all through my life. All right? It wasn't until the last 4 years this became a problem, and then a bigger problem, and then this division became a bigger problem. And now here we are with a country that is 1/3 of its economic self. And yet people still arguing about whether or not they should wear a mask, which is stupid. Let me end with this, okay? There is nothing wrong and very easy to do to put one of these things on and go out and do your business. There's nothing wrong with taking some hand sanitizer, okay? Putting it on, all right, and going on. How long did that take to do? It didn't take long at all, all right? There's no excuse for the kind of behavior we've seen from anybody on this. None. There's nothing wrong with wearing this thing at all. It's proven that it helps people. Some of us are in better shape than others. My blood type happens to be O. They say, hey, look, I'm in a better stead of surviving the coronavirus. I don't believe that. I take every precaution I can. I drink special tea. I'm on a diet that ensures that my weight's lost. My mother's 86. I'm here helping her while sending my house money to keep my place in Oakland. All right? I have my responsibility to my mom first. And some people have made fun of me doing this. The people that make fun of anybody helping their mother are the saddest people on earth. You hear me? They are the saddest people on earth. Wear your mask. There's nothing wrong with it. The more we act like adults, the more we respect each other and aim to work together, the faster we not only get out of this, but we will restore our country. We need a $9.8 trillion economic injection. I made that calculation in May, and everybody has basically affirmed the calculation I made based on the circular flow model of the economy that I learned in school, an analysis of Bureau of Labor Statistics data for income in the various sectors and how that need could be apportioned on a monthly basis from May to the end of the month. Then we just extend that. But it's time that we woke up and stop this political gaming and stop disrespecting each other and stop allowing the president to use race as a tool to divide us. We must simply move forward as the greatest nation in this world. It is unconscionable for us to be in this position, and we can't emerge from it. Indeed, we must. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Good night.